Hello everybody, my name is Chris Angel from the SMB Help Desk, and today we're going to talk about connecting the Polycom VVX series phones. This one specifically, I have a Polycom VVX 300, however, the actual connecting process is actually going to be very similar across all the models of phones, especially when it comes to actually connecting it to the actual network so that it gets an IP address and can actually communicate with the phone system. So once you unbox it, you're going to get a lot of stuff in there. You're going to have the actual phone unit itself. With the phone unit, you're also going to have a base stand or a stand connector. You're going to have the handset. You're going to have the handset cable. Most of the time, you're also going to have included a small network cable. You don't necessarily have to use this. We'll see later on when you might want to use it. And depending on the model of phone you have, you may or may not have a power adapter with it. If you're using what's called power over Ethernet, you won't need a power adapter because the power for the phone is actually going to be coming through the Ethernet cable that's coming from your wall. If you do not have that, then you're going to need the supplied power adapter. So connecting the phone itself is actually very easy to assemble it. Just flip it over on the base station and you'll notice most of the phones have three, some have four, some have two little slots on the back here. This is just simply where this base stand connects right in. And the feet right here are always going to go down and it literally just slides centered right into the slot and you push down and it clicks into place. To remove it, if you want to put it in one of these other slots for a different tilt, simply remove it and put it in a different slot. Once you have that in, you'll at least be able to put the phone on the stand, and now you'll actually be able to connect this. So now you can connect the handset. There are actually two different sides to this handset cable. There is a longer side here that doesn't have as long of a curl, and the shorter side here that does have a shorter piece before the curl. The shorter side actually goes into the bottom of the handset. Now, the cable itself will work either way regardless. It doesn't matter whether you plug the long end in here or the short end in here. It's actually more for aesthetic purposes, and you'll see that here in a moment. So if we go ahead and flip over the phone, you're going to notice a lot of different ports on the back, and it looks a little intimidating, and this is the part that people get a little intimidated by, but it's actually very simple once you kind of understand what these symbols mean. And you'll actually see there's a lot of symbols on the back of the phone here. Right here on the far right, this is where the handset is actually going to connect in. And if you kind of look at the symbol, it kind of looks like a picture of a handset. One more here to the left is actually called the computer port. This will make sense a little later, but this is where you would plug a computer into the phone. This one over here with a line here with a couple lines with dots on the end of them, this is the LAN port or LAN port. This is the port that actually is going to plug into your network. Further over here to the left, this is the headset port. Certain headsets will plug into here. And then this is actually the power port here. Below the headset port, there is an auxiliary port. This is used for a multitude of different things, from sidecars to specific types of headsets with lifters that require power. In this case, we're not going to use this today. And then there is also another headset jack here. This is for an electronic hook switch for electronically taking the phone on and off the hook. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about that today. So again, we'll go back to this longer end of the handset here, the longer end of the curly Q. That handset is just going to plug right into that handset port we talked about here, all the way on the far right. And as you can see, when I lay it down, there is actually a reason for that longer non-curly Q end. There's a channel it lays into here, and there's also a channel that it lays into here on this side. The reason for this is when I go ahead and flip over the phone, it will actually rest comfortably on the surface inside that and not rock back and forth. That's just for more aesthetic purposes. And again, the handset just goes inside of here. Now, if you're not using the base stand, let's say you're actually hanging this on a wall, you can do that. You obviously wouldn't put the base stand in here. There are two mounting screws here, two mounting locations. We can put screws in the wall and mount this. If you are mounting it on the wall, just make note. Inside of here on the handset place, there is a little piece of plastic that you actually kind of have to pull up on, and this actually comes out. You would want to take this out, and if you look at it, the other side of it, it kind of has a little tab on it. That's actually so that the handset itself, handset, actually has something to connect into. If you're not doing that, don't have to worry about it. You can just leave it as is, but I want to make sure you are aware of that. We're actually halfway there at this point. Now it's actually a matter of connecting the phone to the actual network itself so that I can get power and network or just simply network connection. Again, this seems intimidating, but it's not. It's just a matter of getting it connected correctly. So on the back, those two ports we talked about, the one we're going to focus on here is the LAN port, LAN port, which is that line with a couple extra lines and dots off of it. To get it to connect to the network, a lot of times you're going to connect these phones where there's already an existing PC in place, and that PC is already connected using a network cable on the back of the PC. In that case, the easiest way to do that is to route through the phone first and then back to the PC. To do that, you will simply just unplug the network cable from the back of the PC, which in this case I have a PC right off to the side here. So I went ahead and this cable literally just came out of the back of a PC. Now my PC has no internet. But I'm going to take this and plug it into the LAN port or to the LAN port. Now to get my PC so it has internet again is actually very simple. You're going to actually take that supplied network cable. If it's not long enough, you'll have to purchase a longer network cable. But you're going to plug that into this PC port that we talked about, which is the right side network port. You're going to plug one end into that PC port. The other end of this cable right here, I'm going to plug right back into the back of my PC, into that same spot that we just took this other network cable out of. That'll get my PC internet again. Now that we're plugged up, I'm going to go ahead and flip over the phone. And in this case, you're going to notice that the phone is actually turned on already. This is because here we're using power over Ethernet. So the phone is actually getting power through that network cable that came from the back of my computer. If for some reason the phone is not on at this point, you most likely don't have power over Ethernet on your switch. So you're going to have to use the supplied power adapter. All you have to do, flip the phone back over, and this power adapter goes into the round power adapter slot all the way over here on the left. Just plug it into there, plug the other end of this into a standard outlet, and your phone will have power. And that's it. Your phone is now unboxed and connected and can actually connect up to the PBX.